Now, here at New Game Plus, we decided not enough people tell us we're wrong on the internet, so we're going to make some predictions about 2018 and what we can expect. Now, 2017 had some amazing games, especially if you're a Nintendo Switch owner. I'm joined with Jamie and Don here. What are you guys looking forward to this year?
At the moment, I think the one game series I really want to look forward to is Yakuza, because we have Yakuza 6 coming out in a few months from now. It's going to be the next big crime drama with a ton of just cool fights, Sega arcade games, and weird shit. And hopefully, if there is a God, we might get Yakuza Kiwami 2 later this year. So, fingers crossed.
Speaking of God, though, one of the games I'm looking forward to in 2018 is God of War, the reboot that Sony is offering for the PlayStation 4. Like, anytime that's been showed at E3, it just continued to impress in how different of a direction they're taking compared to angry, broody God of War and previous ones. Now we've got bad Dad of War here.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see like how they mix things up, especially like if they're going to change it from the frenetic combo-centric style of the previous God of War games. But I'm also looking forward to Donut County, this charming little indie game that I first played at PAX Australia last year.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, like it's basically the Katamari Damacy that I've wanted for so long, because Katamari itself has not been able to deliver with that.
When was the last time you played a good Katamari game?
Basically 2.
Oh, God.
Yeah, well, it's been going for a while back. Although, Gerard, what are you looking forward to?
Well, my tastes are a lot simpler, and I was pretty happy last year because I had 2 Sonic games, and that made my life, basically.
I'm sorry.
It's my show. But look, and the absence of another Deus Ex game. So, you know, I don't know what I'm looking forward to. And I've got to say with Deus Ex, I'm getting on now, almost 50, and the rate they release Deus Ex games, I don't have a lot more time to play them. So if you can release more Deus Ex games, please, Squeenix, please do it, or Eidos. Now, what I really want to see, though, is I love my retro stuff. I want to see what Nintendo does with their Game Pass style functionality. I want to see how they organise all that sort of stuff on the Switch. At the moment, there's the retro games there, but I'm looking forward to see what else they bring, if it's just NES and SNES games, or if they go into some older consoles, because some newer consoles, because GameCube and things like that, to see if they actually come to the Switch.
I agree with that. I would honestly, at this point, that's kind of the biggest mystery with the Switch at the moment. It's just they keep talking about this Netflix for games that Microsoft have sort of eaten their lunch on at the moment, but they didn't have any classics. I mean, the idea of, hey, I'm paying $10 a month, I get access to every SNES game, like that to me was just, that'll justify it.
I don't think you're going to get that big a library initially, and I don't think you'll ever get that big of a library. The closest you'll get is the size of the eShop, the Wii and Wii U eShop library, which was pretty sizable. Let's not get it wrong.
50 or so games. Like,
But
if it was more than that, I'd be happy.
It's not going to be the be-all and end-all. Besides, Nintendo still needs to make their money through mini-console re-releases.
That's
Yeah,
true.
We'll probably have to re-buy all those games again anyway, because I already bought them from the Wii and then the Wii U as they got released.
We've all bought Super Mario Brothers 3 at least 5 times in
and
some way, shape, or form.
Metroid, say what up.
And it's great that it's cheaper each time, but that's a little bit annoying. But still, the other thing I'd like is at the moment there's retro games appearing on the Switch, and it's all mixed in with the great indies and that. I'd like, just as a side point, I'd like Nintendo to allow me to organise those games a little bit better, so that they're not all just all in with each other, and also searching for them in the store.
That's the wonder of firmware updates. You never know, man.
Yeah, well, you never know. That's the problem. Now, let's look specifically at quickly at each console maker. Now, Microsoft, what have they got coming up for us this year? What do you expect to see from them?
Forza Horizon 4. That's literally it.
That's pretty much it.
Pretty much it for me.
They really need to get some good first-party games out there, and if the rumors of a Fable reboot are true, then maybe that'll be a start.
Would you really think
a start, not necessarily a finished point. We're going to get a Halo announcement because we're at that point in the cycle. But if they're going to furnish their Game Pass program with first-party games at launch, they need to make a more compelling argument than Sea of Thieves and maybe a Halo down the line.
I mean, hey guys, Crackdown 3 is coming out, and yeah, there's no Crackdown 3 isn't coming out anytime soon.
Now that's Microsoft, but what about Sony? I mean, you mentioned before, but Sony's been playing the same games, telling us about the same games for years now, haven't they?
I think Don and I, we come to the agreement that look, I'm sure someone at Sony thinks it's a really cool idea. I'm sure it's a great excuse to say, well, here's the thing you're looking forward to before The Last of Us 2 comes out anytime soon, but Days Gone just looks like the most boring video game ever. Just like it is just nothing. Every time I show that, and it just more and more and more of this game. It's just.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey.
No,
Awesome.
got Last of Us 2. Yeah.
Yes, Last of Us 2. That's a video game that's coming out not in 2018. It'd be nice if it did, but it's not. But if we're looking at more Sony stuff, I kind of don't see Dreams being my thing. Like, I love Media Molecule. I think they're a really talented creative developer, and I love what they do. But every time I see Dreams, I'm just not there. I just don't see what it is that's taken this game so long to come out.
It's not the game of your dreams, is what you're saying.
I wouldn't quite say it like that, but yeah, sure, let's go with that.
Yeah, but like they're gonna have some sort of retro re-release this year as well because Crash Bandicoot made
Or
bucket
Medieval.
loads. Oh yeah, they've got Medieval. Like, are we gonna get Spyro announcement at some point this year?
That'd be okay.
As in,
I
like,
guess.
it's only a matter of time. After all, it's an Activision product, isn't it?
That is true.
Yeah,
and hey,
they've already established that relationship. Like it's a matter of when, not if.
I mean, Crash did really well.
Well, we got amiibos from Sony that
Actually, they're called
Don't do
Totaku.
anything.
Please call correct. Hey, don't call them amiibos. They're not. They are
They're
literally not amiibos.
they're useless amiibos.
They're closer. They're
So
closer.
amiibos.
They're closer to pop vinyls than they are amiibo.
At least my amiibo's got DLC built in on different games.
When was the last time you actually used an amiibo to unlock anything in your game? Same with you.
Well, I unlocked what's called having a better shelf. Does that count?
A happier life, yeah, he's right.
Weirdos. I mean, look, I don't mind the idea of the like as a collectible thing. It's just, hey, you can go to your local store and buy a little Firestar figurine. And to me, as someone who kind of really likes Wipeout, hey, that's not bad. Or maybe even the Hunter from Bloodborne or Heihachi Mishima. I mean, granted, it's not going to be like the crazy $400 figurines you go from like Japan or from the really specific American shops, but hey, $20, it's not the worst thing in the world.
Although, whilst we're talking about PlayStation and Microsoft, they both have their step-up consoles, their PlayStation 4 Pro and the Xbox One X out there. Do you see them sort of try and make a push with that this year, or do you reckon there's enough momentum for that to sort of be just self-sustaining?
I don't know. I still don't see any real reason to upgrade to a Pro or one. I mean, maybe it's a 1X at this point, but a Pro, I don't see a reason why. I mean, I don't have a 4K TV yet, and I don't think I ever will at this point.
Doesn't the PlayStation not play 4K
No,
Blu-rays?
it doesn't.
Oh no, you won't be able to watch what's called Planet Earth 2.
But no, if I'm going in for 4K TV and 4K PlayStation, then I'm also eyeing off those 4K Blu-rays at JB Hi-Fi and thinking
Look,
they
I
look
mean,
really cool.
As we mentioned before,
why not?
Firmware is a wonderful thing, and you never know what you're going to get.
Okay, well, let's talk about other hardware that's not going anywhere. VR. Now VR, I haven't seen a single person outside of gaming that is even remotely interested in VR. Now, VR's got to be dead, doesn't it?
I would disagree with you on that one.
I got to agree with him on that. Like, it's not dead, but it's more or less a case of just there's no reason to do it. Like, aside from people, like, we know game developers who do it, and they have to have that. That's fine. But for, like, we spoke to a bunch of people just kind of in the group, and very few of us know anyone who has not only a VR headset, but also the setup, which is not cheap.
Which is a shame, given that it just creates a vicious cycle of people don't buy VR headsets because there aren't enough games for it. Game developers won't make games for it because people don't have VR headsets, and so on and so forth. But I still see the potential of VR. I tried, had my first VR experience just earlier this year at a friend's house, and it lives up to the potential. Like, you do feel really immersed, and like it can create some awe-inspiring experiences.
But would you
we just
drop the
want
money on it, though?
We just want developers to actually create that, and I don't think it's fair to say that VR is dead. It's still just in its infancy, and they've made leaps and bounds, especially on the hardware front. But it just, and software is still being worked on just because people are starting to learn the language of how to make a game in VR. It'll take time to get to the point where you have your first big AAA title. And until then, you have baby steps, and occasionally you have big breakout VR titles like Resident Evil 7 for the PlayStation VR.
Are we likely to see, look, at some point for the general market to catch on? I have my doubts because I can't see a lot of parents they worry about screen time. I can't see a lot of parents really being happy with their kids having a headset on and being completely disconnected from them. But the other thing that keeps away from the mainstream market's price, isn't it? Like, are we going to see cheaper VR?
I mean, isn't Oculus doing that right now? And even HTC with some capacity, they're making cheaper and also effectively more powerful headsets.
Not to mention the mobile scene as well, when you have Samsung and Google both developing relatively cheap VR headsets for your phones.
So I hope it's not like normal games where you end up with the future VR is your phone. I mean,
Phones are pretty good
They are
nowadays.
very good, Gerard. Don't discount the phone.
All right, I'll be prepared to be pleasantly surprised by that when I try it out. All right, cool. Now, another thing I was going to bring up, the last Grand Theft Auto came out, how many years ago now?
2013, so let's say 4 years.
Okay, and they haven't. I mean, I don't think there's been another one announced, and a lot of people are still playing it. They seem to have they've nailed the monetization of the game, haven't they? Keeping it going with their Megalodon packs and stuff like that.
I mean, look, that's the thing with GTA Online. It's like there hasn't been any single player DLC for that game. Like every bit of update for that game, every bit of content for that game is just we're going to keep updating online. So we're getting new content, we're getting new radio stations, anything else, which is crazy.
Now, does that mean though, if that's an example of a game that nailed the ongoing monetization, are we likely to see a shift from games that have their yearly release cycles to games that have a longer sort of gap between releases, but make better use of the microtransactions and the DLC between releases?
Sort of kind of seeing that now. I mean, Ubisoft have been kind of going down that path for a little while. EA is starting to go down that path, and I can't imagine at some point every major publisher is going to just float the idea, I guess.
Yeah, because they want to go that way, don't they?
They do, but it's not going to work for every heritage game. Like, you're still going to get your annual Call of Duties. You're still going to get your annual FIFAs, Maddens, just because they work with the annualized model. And sure, they're going to try and jam it with loot boxes and things like that. But you're still going to see Call of Duty 2019. You're still going to see a new a Battlefield 2022 or whatever the next form takes.
Battle Royale modes. Now, Battle Royale mode got added to Grand Theft Auto, we just mentioned. PUBG is one of them. Fortnite. Are we going to see Battle Royale modes everywhere in 2018?
Maybe not 2018, because it takes a while to build these things, to make games. So
they seem to be popping up all over the joint.
2018, 2019 is when we'll see the real stage of like PUBG 2.0 clones, basically.
And that probably leads in a little bit. Esports. What do you expect to see in esports this year?
I would love to see more. I'd be interested to see more AFL teams and more kind of big kind of big kind of parties and big orgs just kind of getting involved in bolstering that local scene. And hey, I wouldn't mind seeing a game that's not CS or LoL kind of take over in the local scene.
What about Overwatch?
Yeah.
Actually, Australia's Overwatch scene isn't too bad. Like, we do decently at the Overwatch World Cups, but
no one has 20 million to pump into a team for the league.
Not necessarily, no. We almost had a Sydney team, but that's another story altogether. But like I said, in terms of esports for 2018, it's just going to continue growth, not massively, even when you have investments from the AFL. But it's still going to be a steady growth, I reckon, in this year, especially with Overwatch League being as well polished as it is.
All right, well, 2018, it'd be interesting to see how we've gone at the end of the year when we play this back again. Thanks guys for doing this, and yeah, we're looking forward to playing some really good games this year and see how wrong we are.